welcome to the BenchZen channel. Today we're going to be doing the Moebius Ironman Mark III kit. This kit's been around for a while. It's a fairly simple kit to put together. The most challenging part will be painting. So it's a level 3 kit. Only 3 sprues, that's it. So there's not a lot of tiny, small, intricate pieces that need to go together. It all fits together fairly easily, fairly well. The difficulty is in the painting, and obviously we'll be doing some wiring and some little extra tricks to it to get it to something a little bit more custom. As you do in these things, it's half the fun. So as I said, the instructions easily laid out, so let's get to it. First things first, I always wash the sprues, always clean them. I'm just using soapy water. You can use an alcohol wipe, some other solution, but we just want to get that mold release off them. It aids in the priming, so when you prime, it helps the paint to adhere. So just clean them up, let them dry out. And the next step, I always read the instructions over, look at how things go together, and cut out the pieces, test fit them. And the main thing that we're going to be doing is, or having to work out, is how we're going to run the wiring and what order we're going to actually be painting the pieces in. So we've got to keep the end result in mind. There's 2 pieces. There's a helmet piece and there's a face mask. So the face mask, he has those nice, low rectangular eyes. So we just used a pin vise just to drill a number of holes, and then just got our number 11 blade and just cleaned out those holes, and then just sand them, and it comes out relatively well, as you can see here. And we'll get that nice light coming through. So the chest cavity, the arc reactor, again, I just used a Dremel, and we just tidy up that circle, taking our time, filing down the any sort of rough edges and getting it to a nice oval piece. I'm going to be putting in a perspex, round perspex plate, so it looks like the arc reactor. There's a fair amount of sanding to be done in this kit. We'll talk more about that later. So for the wiring, we've essentially got obviously 2 bulbs in one in each hand. We've got the arc reactor in the chest. We've got the helmet, and there'll be one in his thruster jets on his feet. So we have to drill them out, we have to make channels for the wiring, and we have to work out how we're going to do that. So for the hands, I just am going to be using a 3mm bulb. So just take your time, you want to get things in the center, and then I test fit. So I think it's a 3mm bulb in his hands, so I'm just test fitting to make sure that hole's the right size. There will be a lot of light blocking that will need to be done, so we want the light to just come out from the arcs. Sanding, did I mention there's a lot of sanding? Well, there's more sanding than what I'm used to with other kits, but we'll try and look at ways to limit the amount of sanding that has to be done. So again, having to run channels, so just getting all of these pieces. I haven't done any gluing. Everything is just being press fitted. I'm running wires. I'm trying to work out exactly how we're going to run these things. And using a Dremel, it's a great tool to have in your equipment bag. We can just press fit things together, get some wire, look at how that's going to all flow together. So what my plan is to run all the bulbs into the chest cavity, and we're going to marry up the wires within the chest cavity, and we're going to run one down one of the legs, I think the left leg, and that's going to run into the underside of the stand, where we'll have, I'm actually going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to run a battery and a DC charger, so we can run it on mains or we can run it on battery, and we'll talk more about that maybe in a second or third part to this video series on the Ironman Mark III. So again, just taking your time, removing material as you need be, and I've run it through the elbow and the hand joints and the shoulder joints is where I've run the wiring, and just cutting nice little channels. I don't like to take away any more material than I have to because I don't want to lose any structural integrity. So once I'm sure the channels are right, I put the wiring in, test the wiring. I do a lot of testing to make sure that it's all working how I want. And here I'm just using a Tamiya extra thin cement. I really like that product. It works through capillary action, and it'll just wick through onto the seams. And once the way that these products work is that they actually melt the plastic. So once the plastic is melted, we can press fit, and we'll hopefully get a little bit of melted plastic just coming up, sitting proud of the seam, and that'll save a lot of work with having to use fillers and resanding. And I'll run through that a little bit later, but it's a great product. And once we've got that press fitted, just clamp it together and leave it for a while to form a nice tight bond. Again, another check of the bulbs. So here we can see the 3mm bright white for his hand, all working fine.
So as you can see here, it's really strong seam lines in this model, and the plastic's quite brittle. It's not very forgiving. So just be careful when you're cutting things from the sprues, because you'll end up with chip out like that there. So just take your time.
So back again, and I'm not sure if you can see where we've glued that together. You can see the little weld line, and that is definitely raised. So by squeezing, getting that that joint to ooze out, hopefully it will make sanding and putting a little bit easier. So we'll give that a go, and we'll show you what it looks like afterwards. But you can clearly see that line there where the two halves join together, and if you were to paint it like that, you would see it. And I personally don't like the look of that. It's really personal preference, but it's something that I like to take care of before painting. Okay, so we're back again, and that same piece, look at that, you can't see where that's joined. So that's worked really well. So we just sanded that out, and now we don't have a line, and that will make the final product a lot better. So we'll keep going.